As the final round commences, both Haruto and Wakaba fix their eyes on the screen, the air thick with tension. Haruto, his voice a blend of excitement and pride, confesses that he's never reached a quiz game's final round before. "This is my first time here," he admits, urging Wakaba to push through and claim victory. Wakaba feels a surge of determination mingled with nerves as she recalls her childhood days spent playing games without ever finishing them. The final question appears in crisp English, and for a fleeting moment, her confidence wavers. Her heart races as she braces herself, caught between the thrill of the challenge and the fear of failure. The question flashes onto the screen. In his book, they should stop smoking. Wakaba's pulse quickens as she stumbles over the awkward English phrasing, her anxiety mounting with each passing second. The countdown timer ticks away, adding to the pressure. She takes a deep breath, trying to steady her thoughts, and shifts her focus to the 3 answer choices displayed before her. Her eyes land on the second option. It seems to fit the book's theme, yet something about it feels slightly off compared to the others. A gut feeling tells her it might be the right choice, but doubt lingers, gnawing at her confidence. She hesitates, caught in the familiar cycle of indecision, a struggle that has often left her feeling a step behind. With the clock ticking down, Wakaba's mind spirals into panic. The word book has too many meanings. It could refer to anything. She closes her eyes, nearly surrendering to the pressure. "I can't do it," she murmurs, frustration creeping into her voice. But Haruto refuses to let her give up. "A book can mean more than just something you read," he explains. "It could be a contract book, a registry. Words can change depending on context." His voice is steady, reassuring. He smiles at her, nudging her toward the answer. "Look closely. The right choice will stand out from the rest." His words strike a chord deep within Wakaba. She recalls the obstacles she's faced, the hardships she's conquered. Taking a deep breath, she refocuses, piecing together the meaning behind the options. Her heart pounds, but this time it's not from fear, it's determination. With a firm grip on the controller, she clenches her fist and selects option 2. As the screen flashes with the correct answer, Wakaba sits frozen in disbelief. Did she really just win? Haruto beams, clapping his hands together. "You did it. That was amazing." His excitement is contagious, and for a moment Wakaba can only stare at the screen, processing her victory. Then it clicks. She actually won. A burst of excitement overtakes her as she instinctively high-fives Haruto. "I won. I actually won," she exclaims, her voice filled with joy. The realization sends a thrill through her. Sure, it's just a game, but the rush of triumph is real. It's been so long since she's felt this kind of pure, unfiltered happiness. Still caught up in the moment, she turns to Haruto with a bright grin. "This was all thanks to you," she says eagerly. "I never would have gotten that last question without your help." Haruto rubs the back of his neck, looking a little bashful. "Well, my English has always been pretty good since I was a kid," he admits. "But honestly, I'm awful at everything else." Wakaba laughs, nudging him playfully. "Come on, don't be so humble." Haruto turns to Wakaba with an eager grin. "Wanna go for another round?" Normally, Wakaba would have politely declined, brushing it off with a casual excuse. But this time there's no hesitation. "Yeah, let's do it," she says, surprising even herself. They dive into more games, laughter filling the air as they compete, strategize, and celebrate small victories. With every round, Wakaba feels something she hasn't in a long time, pure, unfiltered joy. Not just fun, but something deeper. A rare and exhilarating happiness she never expected to find here. Time flies, and before they know it, the clock reminds them of reality. It's already lunchtime. Haruto stretches, then flashes a knowing smile. "I know a great place that serves amazing food. Wanna check it out?" Lunch hadn't even crossed Wakaba's mind. She hesitates, suddenly unsure. Sensing it, Haruto gives her a reassuring nod. "Hey, no pressure. If you're not hungry, we can totally skip it." Just as Haruto is about to respond, Wakaba suddenly starts rummaging through her bag. A moment later, she pulls out a neatly packed bento and holds it out to him. Haruto freezes, eyes widening in disbelief. "Wait, is this homemade?" he asks, his voice tinged with awe. Wakaba nods, tilting her head in curiosity. "Yeah, why? You seem weirdly fascinated." Haruto stares at the bento like it's some kind of legendary treasure, his expression unreadable. Wakaba, feeling a little self-conscious, instinctively pulls it back. "I didn't mention it earlier because I figured you already had everything planned, like restaurant reservations or something." But before she can say anything else, Haruto suddenly erupts with excitement, his voice booming across the area. Wakaba jumps, startled by his unexpected outburst. Through gasping breaths, Haruto dramatically declares, "At last, I have been blessed with a homemade bento. A relic so supreme, it rivals even the mightiest legendary armor." Completely overwhelmed, he throws his head back and bursts into tears. "I never thought this day would come." Wakaba, utterly baffled, frantically waves her hands. Hey, calm down. It's just a bento." As she watches him wipe away his tears like he's just witnessed a miracle, Wakaba finds herself unintentionally studying him. His reactions are over the top, completely ridiculous, and yet she doesn't mind. There's something oddly natural about being around him. She realizes something unexpected. Looking at Haruto doesn't bore her. If anything, it only makes her feel even closer to him. Once they find a quiet spot, Haruto eagerly asks, "Can we sit and eat here?" Wakaba nods, glancing around. "As long as no one else shows up, we should be able to enjoy our meal in peace," she sighs, adding, "Finding a place like this wasn't easy." With that, they open the bento and begin eating. Wakaba watches as Haruto takes a bite, his expression lighting up with pure delight. He chews slowly, savoring every bite like it's the best meal he's ever had. As she observes him, the real reason behind the bento comes to mind. It was Nanas's advice: for a first date, always bring a homemade bento. And now, seeing Haruto's reaction, Wakaba starts to think, maybe Nanas was onto something. Haruto's eyes light up as he takes another bite. "This bento is amazing. I swear I could eat 3 bowls of rice just because of this tamagoyaki." Hearing his excitement, Wakaba feels a warm sense of satisfaction. For a fleeting moment, she wonders if his happiness comes from the fact that she made it for him, but she quickly shakes off the thought, feeling a little silly. As they continue eating, Wakaba finds herself watching Haruto without realizing it. There's something about him that captivates her. Unlike most people, his emotions are always on full display. Whether he's thrilled or frustrated, there's no hiding it. And despite all the rumors surrounding him, Wakaba thinks, if people took the time to really know him, they'd see that he's nothing like the stories say. Wakaba had assumed Haruto would only talk about games and manga, but to her surprise, he was nothing like she expected. Despite her social awkwardness, conversation with him flows effortlessly, something she never imagined possible. Haruto isn't just some overenthusiastic gamer. He genuinely looks out for her, making sure she's comfortable in every little way. She can't help but be amazed. If someone had told her before that she'd be sitting here, chatting so easily with someone like him, she wouldn't have believed it. As they continue their meal, Haruto suddenly pauses, realizing he's devoured almost the entire bento. He scratches his head apologetically, calling it too delicious to resist. Wakaba, however, just chuckles and reassures him that she's happy he enjoyed it. Impressed, Haruto asks if she often cooks at home. Wakaba nods, explaining that she frequently helps her mother in the kitchen, unlike her twin sister, who, despite being hopeless at cooking, has an incredible talent for crafting things with her hands. Though they're twins, their skills and habits couldn't be more different. Haruto raises an eyebrow in surprise. "Wait, you have a twin, so that means there are 4 people in your family?" Wakaba beams and nods, her excitement growing as she talks about her sister. Her voice filled with warmth as she hands Haruto an ice cream. She shares that her sister is a natural entertainer, charismatic, easygoing, and incredibly talented. Unlike her sister's confidence shines in every situation. She admires her sister's impressive athletic abilities and sees her as a dependable figure who always looks out for her older sibling. Yet deep down, Wakaba can't help but feel a tinge of envy at their stark differences. She then describes her mother as warm and generous, though her kindness comes with a fierce temper when pushed too far. And then there's her father, the only man in the house. His peculiar hobbies might raise eyebrows, but his unwavering sense of responsibility keeps the family grounded. Haruto curiously asks about her father's unusual hobbies, and Wakaba explains that he collects bandoms, detailed plastic figures that he's deeply passionate about. Hearing this, Haruto's eyes light up with excitement as he shares his own love for bandoms, especially the M91, which he praises as a top-tier robot. When he asks if she appreciates her father's collection, Wakaba doesn't hesitate. Not only does she admire it, but so do her mother and sister. In fact, their whole family shares in his enthusiasm. For Wakaba, family means everything, and she's always eager to talk about them. As the conversation flows, Wakaba and Haruto start feeling more at ease with each other. Haruto listens attentively, responding with warm smiles and polite nods, always careful to be respectful without overstepping any boundaries. Curious, Wakaba asks about his family. Haruto shares that his father is a middle school teacher, someone who has always been dedicated to raising him the right way. Despite his strict approach to parenting, his father has a playful side, often cracking bizarre jokes that leave Haruto both amused and puzzled. However, there's one thing that makes Haruto uneasy: his father's drinking. When he has a beer, his emotions tend to run wild, something that always leaves Haruto feeling on edge. Haruto gestures toward Wakaba, explaining that his mother is the complete opposite of his father. She's a determined woman who refuses to lose, no matter the challenge. Recently, there was a massive sale at the supermarket, and she was the first one there, braving the freezing cold like a warrior on a mission. No matter how low the temperature drops, she always makes it to the market by 4 o'clock a.m., ready to claim the best deals. Haruto has tried to reason with her, but once she sets her mind on something, there's no stopping her. Even his sister, Mio, often joins their mother on these early morning shopping battles, fully embracing the family tradition. When Wakaba asks about his sister, Haruto shares that Mphu is 14 years old. He goes on to explain that, unlike him, she isn't physically similar to him at all. Instead, she is incredibly beautiful and remarkably intelligent. People often say she possesses both beauty and brains, making her stand out wherever she goes. Haruto then reveals something unexpected. He suspects that Namikawa is in love with his sister. According to him, Namikawa never misses a chance to message her whenever he has free time. This revelation leaves Wakaba stunned, but Haruto isn't finished. With a smirk, he adds that his sister can be quite ruthless. She knows Namikawa has feelings for her, and she deliberately takes advantage of his affections for her own amusement. Wakaba listens intently, finding Haruto's family dynamics both intriguing and entertaining. As their conversation continues, Haruto reflects on how every moment in life holds its own beauty, something he wants to cherish to the fullest. Seeing his enthusiasm, Wakaba can't help but smile, feeling a sense of warmth in the moment. After a moment, Haruto falls silent, his gaze shifting downward as if lost in thought. Wakaba notices the change in his demeanor and asks what's on his mind. At first he hesitates, his hands trembling slightly. A bead of sweat forms on his brow as he clenches his fist, mustering the courage to speak. Then, without thinking, the words slip out. "What do you like about me?" The unexpected question catches Wakaba completely off guard. Her heart skips a beat as nervousness creeps in. She doesn't answer right away, unsure of how to respond.